The Itoshi brothers are two siblings who represent the trope sibling rivalry in one of the most excellent manners I've ever witnessed within fiction, especially within the context of a sports manga, with Rin constantly chasing after Sae as though he's an undefeatable wall he must overcome to become the best in the world, and Sae having his dreams as a striker be crushed during his time abroad. These two brothers make up for an excellent dynamic that is near addicting to watch whenever they're both on screen. And although within the singular time in which they shared the field with one another, it was frankly quite embarrassing, with Sae being able to humiliate Rin on a variety of occasions. Rin has continually evolved within the Neo Eagles League to levels which we've never actually seen him display before this, and cementing himself as a true world-class player. So, today, we'll be analysing who is truly superior between these two brothers. As always, if you like these sorts of videos, please remember to like or subscribe and leave a comment down below on who you think is better between Rin or Sae. And let's get into the video. To begin with the comparison, first we must analyse the weapons of the two brothers, and to start off with, I'll begin with Sae. Seeing as he has the least amount of showings, therefore he's much easier to analyse in comparison to his brother. In totality, Sae appears like an evolved, ideal version of Rin within the second selection, with him having all of his weapons and far more, while combining it with his excellent passing technique. Sae, like many other world-class talented learners, within Blue Lock especially, has metavision. In essence, this allows Sae to continuously take in information within his peripheral vision and collect mass amounts of information from the field, using it in the most efficient manner in order to spot weaknesses, passing routes, threats to himself, and so much more. We're told by Isagi that Sae is likely a user of this technique, and although many people may try to argue that it's unconfirmed so we can't use it for scaling, we see many hints of it throughout the entire U20 vs Blue Lock game. A few key examples of this include Isagi never being able to account for Sae whenever he is rushing towards the goal. Each individual time we see Isagi attempt to create a goal scoring opportunity, with Sae intervening, it appears as though he has come out of nowhere, being able to spot and exploit weaknesses even advanced users of spatial awareness are unable to locate. In addition to this, Rin, who has already had an analysis on Sae's playstyle ingrained in his head, attempts to outread Sae and counter his crosses, and we see that strategy completely fall flat on his head, with Isagi needing to come and save him, implying that two spatial awareness users are both needed to come and match up against Sae. We're also told quite explicitly by Rin that Sae's playstyle involves him destroying the field efficiently and in a beautiful manner. Both of these nearly mirror Isagi's statements about Kaiser during the Boucher game, when he's using metavision. This isn't to say that Sae even compares to Kaiser in terms of vision, and I'm not making a clear comparison here, but I'd simply like to note that there is a clear playstyle which is distinctive from metavision users in the eyes of people who do not possess it. In addition to his vision, Sae supplements his overall playstyle with his dribbling, which is a combination of his own natural control over his body and also his ball control. Unlike Boucher or Yukimiya, who either break through the field using his creativity or their own physicality, Sae dribbles like a counterboxer, observing the motions of the defender or the player who's in front of him in order to properly burst through in one fell swoop using his dribbling and his vision. I'd like to add, for a point in which I'll be emphasizing later on within this video, whenever Sae wishes to get serious, instead of just passing to one another and moving his way up the field using 1-2s, he specifically changes his playstyle, with him using his own natural dribbling in order to break through and create opportunities for himself. Last but not least is his kicking technique. Sae is able to send passes at the perfect angle, speed, and curve in order to match whoever he's passing to, being able to adapt his passes from all the way down to the level of a U20 random player, to being able to advance the skill level by virtue of creating nigh impossible passes for somebody like Shido. In fact, using his sheer passing and vision alone, he and Shido are able to replicate a world-class level combination through multiply reflex by itself, allowing him to create a play which is so high level that upon seeing a similar move, Lorenzo is forced to admit that the play surpasses all of Uber's designs, which are made by Snuffy. So, with that being said, Sae appears to be a nearly complete footballer, combining the ideal blend of both vision, physicality, passing, dribbling, and mentality, all to maximize his skill as a midfielder. So, how does Rin Itoshi, his younger brother, compare to this? To begin with, it is important for you to know that you should throw out of your mind every single preconceived notion you've had about Rin, which does not include his showings within the Neo Egoist League and his flow state within the U20 game. Dare I say, I believe current Rin, without even being in flow, would absolutely embarrass himself within the U20 game, even if he were to be in flow state. Regardless, let's begin the analysis. Rin's physical capabilities, to say the least, are all high level. This is not like Rayo's, whose physical stats allow him to copy everybody due to his statistics being all equally balanced. Although Rin's physicals aren't split evenly all around, even the lowest of his physical capabilities are at a high level. We see Ness immediately state upon seeing Rin get the ball that quite literally everything about Rin is amazing, from his dribbling, to his vision, to his ball control, to his shooting technique. One of Rin's most notable weapons is his nigh perfect kicking accuracy, with him being able to score volleys, travellas, curve shots, blind spot shots, and far more. We see Sae simply state that he may even be able to score from anywhere below 35 meters, which for all the normal people out there is 114 feet. This means that Rin is quite literally capable of scoring from an entire blue whale's distance away, while still being extremely, if not perfectly accurate. This kicking accuracy basically means that from a little bit behind the halfway line, Rin is an immense threat to the opposing team, meaning that they'll be forced to watch out for any shots that he takes, even from that far away. However, this doesn't even begin to touch the bottom of Rin's offensive toolkit. Although Rin's vision hasn't particularly evolved in the same way Isagi, Kaiser, and Charles have, his vision is in no way lacking, with Rin even being implied to be a puppeteer within the second selection, with high enough spacing capability allowing him to completely neutralize Nagi's trapping. However, despite him not evolving down the same path of metavision which Isagi went down, he makes up for it with Predator Eye. Predator Eye specifically, as I explained in my previous video, is an eye which allows the player to narrow down their attention onto a specific individual, sometimes being the goalkeeper, and in most cases for Rin, that's Isagi. And using this narrowed down field of vision, he is able to analyze the body language of the prey in this context within their vision, such as their hesitation, confusion, and whatever strategies they're coming up with, in order to exploit weak points and end up taking the ball and scoring. While many may say that this eye has not been foreshadowed for Rin, I'd like to note that Isagi states at the very beginning of the PXG game that Rin is capable of predicting and reading his movements simply by narrowing his attention down specifically only onto Isagi, allowing him to create an opportunity to take the ball from him. A strategy which is also replicated by Kaiser, who is another Predator Eye user. In addition to this, even as far back as the third selection, we see Rin employ similar tactics to what Barrow does with Predator Eye. Through creating chaos within the field and keeping his eyes on the keeper while also hiding the ball from view, he's able to immediately score from wherever distance he wants. However, I'll simply just dismiss this as Blue Lock fans not reading the manga in which they claim to be fans of, and continue on with his immense arsenal of weapons. Being his most notable and strongest transformation, whenever Rin goes into flow, his playstyle changes from being a predictive yet still dominant all-rounder that he regularly is with extremely high kicking accuracy, to being a beast of literal incomprehensible destruction. His entire game plan relies on him figuring out what his opponent is best at and then devoting his entire existence to destroying it. While that may lead to him making irrational decisions, unless you're as smart, intelligent, and adaptive as Isagi, or somebody on that level, then simply put, you have nothing to offer Rin in context of a football game. So, with that being said, let's actually see who is better at analyzing the feats and all of the weapons in which I've stated.